Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to all of you. And thank you so much for coming on Saturday. And we really value your time. So we'll not wait much. And we're going to start now because you have came almost before half an hour. So yes, so guys, how are you? I mean, I hope you didn't feel difficult to come here. I mean, you are coming from how many kilometers? Maybe I think more than 10 kilometers also. Many of you, right? Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for this. And I know it's very difficult, but you have managed on Saturday, which is, of course, a very big thing, and we respect you for that. And we can say that your entire time, which you'll be spending here, it will be valued each and every minute. So we'll start now. Uh, Welcome to this AI Agent Unplugged. The future is now. This is the meetup today. And this is me. My name is Prem. I'll be your host for the day. And you can scan this QR code. Why it's required? Because you can get the notification that which meetups is coming on and shortly which are the few events in terms of meetups or conferences we are going to schedule. You will get the notification for that. And also a lot of posts. This is for LinkedIn and X for both. Prem Goswami 07 is the ID. You can just search and you'll get to know over there. Yes. All the events in meetup.com. I'll just come to you in that. So I'll tell you which are the groups, which communities we have, in which communities you can add, and which exactly you will come to know about the notification of the meetup. Yeah. So what is Geeky Ants? Geeky Ants is a product development studio with an AI-driven customer-centric approach. I'll give you the details of this. So we have 5,000 plus hours saved in creation of an iframe widgets with multimedia features, 300 plus savings in design hours, 80% boost in operation security through an innovative authentication flow, and 3,000 plus widgets. And if you want to know about the services, you can of course go to the website and you can have a detailed information about that. These are the services we have. We have industries, healthcare, fintech, food and beverage, manufacturing, e-commerce, and these are the solution which you can of course go in detail and you can look up to it. What we do there, I just want to show you one. In terms of artificial intelligence, this is a revolutionizing AI and data science solution. You can of course have a look of it in detail. We have solution industries again and services in this remark. So you will be able to know much details in this if you will be able to go to the site later on. Yeah, and we have amazing products with us which we build. You must have heard about the native base and also the glue stack UI library. You can go to the website and you'll come to know. I'll show you just a glimpse of this. This is our website, React and React Native components and pattern. You'll get to know about the blogs, about the products here, and few blogs as well. A quite interesting one. And yes, we last year we did few conferences in Dubai, and also we did in Lisbon as well. So these are few pictures of that. We have exhibited and we have participated over there. And this is a web summit. You must have heard. How many of you have heard about the web summit? Nice. So this was done last year, and we are planning to participate this year as well, which will be in the month of November. We are planning for that. And this is the Bangalore Tech Summit. You must have heard the biggest summit in Bangalore. We'll be participating this year also in the month of November, same. And yes, this is one of the biggest and the first conference which we did from Geeky Ants. So we did in Berlin last year. It was on July 25th. You can go and you can check out the remote speakers and the online offline speakers as well. We have the link associated with that. This year we are planning the theme. Same theme would be React Native, but it will be in Bangalore itself. We will shortly let you know the dates and the month which we are planning. As of now, it is tentative, will be in September, but we'll just check it out. These are the few clips of that. And yes, code of conduct. Just do not use any hate speech. Be respectful. Get to know your fellow attendees and speakers. Network. This is very interesting. So, how many of you are here for networking? Amazing, amazing. So we of course expect that as you'll be in the break and at the end, we expect at least 10 numbers from everybody so that you can able to know each one of you and keep the questions after the talk. Few of the talk we of course have a Q&A, but in case if it's get extended, then you can have opportunity to have a Q&A at the end during networking. Maintain silence while a speaker is giving their talk. You can of course have a chance of Q&A at the end. But yes, whenever the uh, speakers will be on the stage, we always recommend and we urge you to cheer up for them because they deserve it, because they have a lot of preparation for you and they will giving the insights. They deserve the cheer up from you guys. So scream as much as you can while they will deliver and after the speaker talk as well. So this is the Wi-Fi. You must have got Geeky Ants guest in your mobile, that network. You can have a password of Geeky Ants at the rate guest G capital, A capital, and 2023. We'll change the date, of course, later on. So you can have a few seconds of time to add the Wi-Fi. If you're done, you can thumbs up me, and I'll come to know about the indication. I guess it's done. Okay. So let's get started. This is our Geekians handle. Please join this handle for the X and LinkedIn as well. And do post. We'll be having multiple QR codes and the link in the posters as well. Please scan and join our social media. It'd be really good one to get it across. Yeah. So we'll start with the first speaker of the day. His name is Shubham Srivastava. Yes. Before we start, can I have the just the energy which I do on almost all the meetups, because we want that you grab the information with the fullest one. So we want to see that how much energy you have, guys, to start for. Can I have it? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Fine. Great one. Yes. Yeah. Wi-Fi password. Just check. G capital, A capital, and at the rate guest G capital again and 2023. In case you couldn't, my colleague will also going to help you out shortly. Okay. Yeah. So let's welcome the first speaker of the day, and his name is Shubham Srivastava. He is a tech lead of Geeky Ants, and he will talk about agent architectures and design patterns. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please?
Yeah, hello. Audible. Yeah. So before diving into the topic, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Shubham Srivastava, working here at a Geeky Ant as a tech lead in ML and AI domain. So I'm working with the, let's say, AI agents, building a RAG system, then conversational AI with a voice feature and all. So this, yeah. So, it's not. So as we have to discuss AI agents, so like nowadays AI agents are the popular like one of the trending topic here. So when anything comes to the tech, there are a lot of things like architecture, design patterns, and there are drawbacks are coming. So to discuss with the AI agent architecture and design pattern, we'll discuss first what we'll cover today. So we'll a little know about the what is AI agent, then their architecture, design pattern, and then we'll move to the Q&A and yeah. So yeah, AI agent. So what AI agent like? AI agent is a basically a smart software. It's not a LLM or it's not a a model. It's a software which making a smart decisions or actions based through help of the LLM only. So LLM is like a brain for it. and the software is acting smartly with the help of tools, function calling. Yeah. So they're like model like GPT and Claude. So which are like capability to define, okay, uh, when the tool need to be called and what like tool need to be called. And tool is simply a function, a program which like capability to perform any task like doing coding or merging code, uh, etc. Yeah. So yeah. So coming to the architecture part, so there are like major component in a agent are tool, memory, LLM, and then prompt. So prompt is a basically like persona of the agent. So it defines how agent works, what are the like communication styles and all. Tools are the basically functions which like LLM can execute with the help of like uh, uh, software. And let's say memory is like context window. Let's say if we are talking something with LLM, so LLM has like a limited context window and all, so we can put all everything like knowledge base, a book, or some a rule kind of thing here itself in a memory. Yeah. So coming to the design pattern, so there are like four major design pattern in a AI agent. So one is reflection, another is tool call, then planning, then multi-agent collaboration. So I'll discuss this in a like next slide in a bit more detail. Yeah. So design like reflection. What reflection is? Reflection is basically like there are two LLMs who are like performing tasks together. One is like let's say doing coding, another is like doing analysis over their coding and provide feedback on that. So let's say if we ask to code something, then that agent will like LLM will code it and provide to another LLM, where that LLM analyze those code and then provide a feedback to first LLM. And this iteration goes on. We can configure that like we need n number of iteration, and then using that we'll get the refined code. So without human like intervention, it will refine automatically. So I'll show you one of the example. Yeah, is it visible? So I asked to write a program to some n digit. So it's come up with the first version. Then the another LM is providing feedback on it, and then it's come up with the latest version. So here you see like it's handle all the error and all automatically. So we don't have to prompt it again. So final output we get like a refined version of it. So this is one of the design pattern which we can use to get more. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. So like uh, let's say take a coding. So like as a cursor. So let's say if it's doing some mistake in a coding, let's say importing library or installing something. So it automatically get feedback from LLM itself. Okay, this library is imported not correctly, or this dependency are missing. So it will automatically reiterate again and automatically update the code base without any human intervention. So let's say if we are relying totally on LLM, we might get like little less uh, quality of code. But again, when we are trading with another LLM, which have like we have prompted to provide some analysis, so it look over the code and provide some feedback to another first LLM, and then it will refine according to the feedback itself. Yeah. No, so we can yeah. So we so we like the query is different. Like first LLM is like let's say personalized to code. So we defined okay system prompt is there, like we defined like okay you have to code it, and the second agent which have a prompt, you have to analyze the provided code. Okay, so then like we are like provided prompt to a code to like let's say to some n number of digits. It goes to first LLM or first agent. It will provide a code base to us. Then again, let's say we got the output from first LLM, and then we'll put to the next LLM with the same output and prompt. So it will analyze the output of the first LLM, and then it will provide a feedback, generate a feedback for first LLM, and then again in the same iteration will provide those feedback to the first LLM, and then will let's say the first LLM will improve it. Yeah, no. So like LLM can be same or different. It can be configurable also. Yeah.
generated by the second agent,
Yeah.
that should now serve as a query again, right?
Yeah, correct.
Then only it will generate the required
Correct.
output,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And also this code which is generated for the second agent, it should be a query, because on the
Yeah.
basis of that code only,
It will like analyze that.
its output is the corrections to be made.
Yeah,
So if
correct.
this code serves as an input, the output will be the feedback.
Feedback, correct.
So basically, like the output of one is the input of the other, and
Other,
vice
correct,
versa,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Okay. So now moving to the other part. Yep. Yeah. So we can like provide a parameter from in a software, like how many iteration I want. So we can control the iterations. Yeah. So here, like if you see, like we have like I have developed like I have put a iteration kind of thing there, like a drop down. It's a visible here. Okay. Now moving to the next design pattern, tool call. So one of the major development in like LLM is now LLM is like able to decide when to call which functions. And functions are like probably like we can define, okay, like we need to get a weather, or we need to fetch our calendar, or we need to schedule event. So these are like simple unit functions. These are defined like purely based on a parameter, and LLM can decide which function need to be called when based on our interactions. So yeah, so this help us like not to like go into the rack system, like where like our software is deciding which function is called to when based on certain query parameter and all. uh, Now LLM is now more intelligent to decide which functions need to be called when. So for this I have like a demo I'll show in the end of the call with the code base. And so yeah. Yeah. So next one is like planning. So when coming to the tool call, so there is like something missing with the tool call is like LLM is lagging on a planning part. Planning is like what need to be done in a subtask. Let's say I have provided some task to it. Now the planning it goes to the one LLM with the some prompt, and it cut it down into the some sub task, and then further break down it into the steps and all. And based on the task, it will handle all the calls. Let's say if it need to call another LLM, or it need to call some tools, or it need to call some APIs. And yeah, yeah. So this is like one LLM is planning and then executing his tasks. And one of the like research paper which I got from Hugging Face, they have developed like a LLM where like they have provided some task, like okay, you need to generate an image of a girl with a reference image, and like then after you need to describe the image with a voice. So here like that planning is decide, okay, these are the steps need to be taken. And then the second stage will be model selection, which model need to be selected, and it will get pulled from Hugging Face itself. Then it's start executing. The third LLM is start executing the task. Okay, these are the tasks which need to be executed. And then fourth is like to formatting the response into the let's say output format. Yeah. Yeah. So it's doing like they have a bunch of like tools and APIs. So it's now like taking like let's say planning the task by itself only. So rather than like creating a large prompt from our side, it will design, okay, these are the subtasks need to be done, and it's executing automatically rather than relying on a human and like prompting again and again. Yeah. So no, like the persona is defined in such a way of the planning agent. So it will like like plan it out. Like if you provide a small query also, it will plan it if needed only. So it will act smartly. So let's say if provided some tasks which have like let's set of steps, then it break down into the set of steps and then execute it. Yeah. 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 Correct. Hmm. Yeah, so like persona is like something. Can you repeat it once? Sorry. Hmm? Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. So in normal prompt, let's say if you provide a prompt to LLM, it will generally provide a output to you. Now we are like putting a iteration layer over there, multiple iteration layers. So we are like software itself making intelligent decision, what need to be called and what need to be treated again and again, instead of like coming back to the human again, like, and then we'll reply again, okay, this need to be improved and this need to be improved. So this whole thing happen software smartly itself. So LLM like agent is not like something like a LLM or something AI. It's a something a smart software like a which like executing tasks based on a like with the help of LLM itself. Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So like we can put the human in loop itself. So let's say if we are doing some critical task and we have like some critical actions which define in the tools. So we can put simply a human in loop kind of like where like we got the output from LLM, and then now we are saying okay, send a notification to user if you willing to take this action or not. So if human take that action, like as we doing in a cursor, if you like familiar with the cursor, they before deleting any file, they are like prompting a user click on run command. So like that kind of thing we can put a human in loop where we are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can't totally rely on the output. So that's why we like to go into the infinite loop. To avoid to go into the infinite loop, we have put some iteration constraint there. So after certain iteration, human need to be intervened. Like okay, this is like a final version of code. If there's some improvement or changes needed, we need to prompt it again. So it's like rather than getting say some raw output, which is like which might be like let's say less accurate than getting feedback from LLM itself. We are putting another like iterations there for feedback, which will improve the output. Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. So there will be like always like whenever like output is coming from LLM, as LLM is not 100% like accurate. So we need to like look into like our like task whatever like we have provided to LLM. We need to look into the output itself or like agent itself. So now next like the last one is like multi-agent, like where like now let's say define a generic agent. We came to like multi-agent kind of design pattern where we are designing like small agents where the agent are like expertise of doing one task with a set of tools and memory. And now like if we provide a like task to that like chain itself, it will execute in a chain manner, like okay, we'll go to the like design team or we'll go to the coding team, then we'll go to the testing, then we'll documentation. And like in in there, like say we have multiple like entity itself. So these agents are like this entity are itself a agent. So they are doing their task based on a query, and then they are providing task either to the next agent or like it's to the next team itself or flow. So here like we can design small agents itself with a tool with a memory and LLM, and they can perform their task. So this will bring like a refined output to end user. No, so there will be human to cross verify outputs and doing refinement over the time. Yeah, correct. So like, so these are like these are ideal one. So like if like let's say cursor is one of the tool which are like using the concept of this one, like where they have like multiple tools and all, and they're calling based on what is required. So probably we are heading toward this, but not 100%. Yeah. Yeah. No, so it can be distributed, but in a multi-agent in environment itself. Yeah. So in the planning, there is only one agent, which is planning itself, and then executing their task with the help of either another LLM call or with the help of tool calling. Yeah, correct. Different agent, and like workflow also, like when need to be called which agent. Yeah. So let's say agent is a piece of software, and on top of it, like another agent, planning agent, who got the task. Like let's say we have to build a software. Now it will break down into the subtask, and it will assign to corresponding agent itself. And agent will deliver their task and provide feedback to the planning agent. And planning agent might get merge all the output to a single one, and then like provide like output the end user itself. uh, yeah, so like there is like we have control on it, and even we can put a human in loop like at any agent layer also. So every like there is a library autogen from Microsoft. So they have like provided these kind of functionality. We can control like flow and all, and even like human in loop also. Yeah. So either we can define the control who is going to interact with which one, or either agent, planning agent will decide, okay, who need to be called next one. Yeah. Yeah, so there is a memory concept. So where we are storing the output of the agents, and from there, let's say if the let's say a coding agent need any input from that memory, so it will pull it from there itself. So the process will like same like as in the first flow itself. It will like, let's say if they are producing some output, they are cross verifying it, and they are then moving forward, or they are planning it out. Like let's say if there is like CEO kind of, or like CTO kind of persona is there, then there might be like planning it goes on. Then later on, like they move forward. Yeah, correct. So even like we can constrain flow also. Yeah. 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 So there will be like planning agent kind of like which will control the whole conversation. Uh, it can be done, but like it not be like that much accurate. It like you without planning. Yeah. So that's why like it will not get a exact like accurate output, but like system will work. Yeah. Yeah. So like again prompting will be needed like from without. Yeah. So these are the references where I referred. One of the a research paper is there. Like this is from Hugging Face itself. So now moving to the demo part. Like I prepared a demo for like calendar agent. So where like agent is able to like analyze my calendar and plan it out my let's say task or like suggest me time best time slot and all. Okay, sure. Is it visible? It's cutting from bottom. Is it visible? So let's say if I say hi, so it's saying it's a generic output of LLM. But let's say if I say, so now you see like agent is making function call to update their memory, and it's saying like username is Shubham, and it's asking for me like to approve it also. So if I'll approve it or like I disagree or I want to edit, I can do it here only. So let's say if I'll continue with the S, yeah. So it updated memory, and now it's have a context of my name also. And let's say I'll say uh, so now it's calling Google Calendar. Sorry, let me reach. Okay. Yep. No, so like, it's like not email ID. Like it's like simple Google API calls only. So get the tokens. No, no. So like that's like there's some error like due to like token expire and all. So I like need to refresh that token. So let's say if I'll put the same query here. Let's me see. Again, there is some. Let me. There's some issue with the like get. So it will call like simply calendar API, and then it will like get the plan. Okay, these are the available slot for me, and then again like let's say once it call it will provide the slots. Then it will like ask me to schedule a task, like schedule a meet with the agenda and like with the attendee and also. And once I'll provide the attendees, it will automatically like push it to the calendar itself. Yeah. So like coming to the coding part. So yeah. 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 So agents like it's not a wrapper around a LLM or like like let's say two different LLM. It's a, like it might call same LLM, but in a let's say in a chat history kind of like, where like we have like function call history. These are the function which called in the past. Like these are the memory updates which happen. So it's the same LLM like called in the same iteration itself. Yeah.
Guys, I'm extremely sorry to interfere that because we have to complete session, so it's not able to do that. So just one request: you, I know you have many questions, but please take it at the end. It's my just request to you, please.
Yeah. So I quickly go through the code. So here I prepared like a function which like yeah. Is it with the okay? So these are the function like to get the calendar event, and then this is a like function to get to create the calendar event, which is like purely like API call only, which is doing Google API calls, and then we have like a prompt, like let's say system prompt where like asking AI agent to manage the memory and integrate with the Google Calendar itself. Then we are providing like in OpenAI, so they have like system prompt. Then like there is a memory prompt itself, like where we are dumping all the memory. We can do it efficiently also, and here we are providing the configuration of tools. So here we are like these are the tools in tool list where we have like a let's say tool name, then what description of the tool, then their parameters, and then their descriptions and all. Simply with the like other functions also, and then we are simply just calling the LLM with like that OpenAI API with the input itself, and then it's generating. Okay, these are the like AI responses, and if any tool need to be called, the OpenAI is sending the response in a tool call itself. So based on that, our software decide, okay, it will output in a JSON format. Okay, these function need to be called with this parameter, and that parameter have actual values. So once we'll like get the tool calls, and we'll decide, okay, we need to like call the this function based on a function name, and then we'll need to like pass the argument, and then let's say here, yeah, let's say there are two kind of create event, like event where like we need to update the memory, and like calendar event create. So where we are putting a human in loop, like before, like we are asking for user confirmation, like okay, you need to confirm this action or not. Based on the confirmation, we are like proceeding with the further, let's say here. So we are like executing, let's say we are executing each functions with like if and else block. Like if this function is called from OpenAI, then we'll call memory update, then we'll call calendar list, and further once we'll get output, we are appending it into the history itself of the let's say OpenAI like message history. Then once like we'll get the output of the function call, we'll simply calling the for final response, and this loop like goes on like until we'll exit it. Yeah, so it's like a simple like we need to terminate. Yeah, so here, so we are using like OpenAI itself, like ChatGPT 4.0 here. So it's like simply like calling that like OpenAI model with the like user message history, and then with the like it's providing what are the functions available in the software. So these are the configuration of the software, like functions itself. Yeah, yeah. This is a single agent only. No, no. So it's like only from scratch only, vanilla only. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Sorry. Hmm. So like you can provide in a like system prompt itself, like here. So like you can provide constraint like okay, these are like your persona, and like when responding user, like kind of like you can put like a more descriptive prompt here itself. Yeah, yeah. So no, no, so not here. Like it's a like sample code only. Like yeah, yeah. So I have I taken the help of LLM. Even like I have taken the help of like a cursor only. Yeah. So cursor have like a bunch of like good tools. Like it's a like simply they're calling like same only. Yeah. Yeah, so there like there is system prompt, there is a user prompt, and there is like let's say tool calls. So like system prompt is defining the persona of that like LLM itself. Yeah. So we are like calling LLM to let's say if you're providing some query. So now LLM will decide which function need to be called Now our software is executing that function only. It's not like OpenAI is executing that function. We are only executing that function. But now OpenAI is like, let's say OpenAI LLM making a smart decision which function need to be called when, based on our interaction. Yeah. Which one? The function is like a function is predefined. So the unit functions, like let's say create calendar event or list calendar event, are predefined, which are like meant to like provide the list of all events, and one is to like to create an event. Now like based on our interaction, LLM will decide which function need to be called with what certain of parameter, let's say start date, end date. Then like here we have like summary, description, and attendees also. So like it depend on like context window itself, like what the context window they are providing. Like let's say token kind of like let's say the every LLM model have a token limit. So we can provide the certain limit of like function call, like tool calls there, based on token limit itself. And yeah. Yeah, so it's possible like you can integrate with the like memory itself, like if you manage like if you have to manage like a long bunch of like context itself, so you can integrate with the, like a long term or short term memory concept, which have like one of the frameworks is like Leta is there, where they have like like they have like a SaaS kind of platform where you can like manage your memory of the agent, and then function calls also, and even like you can define like persona of the agent. So it's all managing like long term and short term memories.
I'm so sorry for that. Can you just stop the question now, please? It's my request to you.
Yeah.
Please extend the
Yeah.
talk, because you can of course take the questions as I've told you at the end, please, because otherwise we're not able to complete the session. You can take a lot of questions, but at the networking, which will be around, you can say 5:30 p.m., 6 p.m., you're always welcome for that. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Guys, yes, we'll just quickly move to the next speaker of the day, and his name is Kiran Nambiar, and he is a CEO and co-founder of MyFi, and he will talk about the use of LLMs and AI in the fintech space. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please?
Good. Okay. Uh, Let me just do a quick intro. So my name's Kiran Nambiar. I spent about 10 years in banking tech as an engineer before starting my own agency in Bangalore called First Main. We were then acquired by a company called Tiffin. And for the past sort of 3 years, been working with them, and early last year started working on MyFi, which is essentially a entirely conversational platform to help people invest better. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but so the topic at hand: can AI change wealth outcomes? Right? How many of you invest in any form, mutual funds, stocks? Okay, so at least half the room. I'm sure the other room is at least aspiring to invest. So, the past couple of years, and especially through COVID, the number of investors that have come online have grown exponentially, right? There are plus minus 100 million investors in the country. Quoted numbers are often higher, but let's discount a little bit. Um, but if you look at the landscape when it comes to advice in this space, people helping you with investments, that number still stands at around 80,000 in the entire country, right? Just breaking this down a little bit more, the most popular mechanism is basically getting a mutual fund distributor license, which technically is not an advisor. It's really to help sell mutual funds, but at the end of the day, they are people still interacting with investors all over the country. Of them, only 57% are actually active, right? What really constitutes an advisor is what SEBI calls an RIA, or registered investment advisor, and there are only about 960 in the country, right? Even if you add certified planners, etc., the numbers are quite small. So uh, as you can see, the stats are quite staggering. 100 million investors, 80,000 people who can help you with this. Clearly, there's a problem at hand. Um, if you look at household incomes as well from 2021 and projected to kind of 2031, obviously that middle class is growing, as we all know. So there's more wealth coming into the country, um, more people investing, more money being invested, and still we don't have a way to really address this problem. Um, so what does AI have to do with all of this, right? It's estimated that in this coming financial year alone, AI in different forms in the economy is going to add up to 500 billion to India's GDP alone. Um, the problem we have in India and also globally really is the fact that financial literacy is very low. Only about 27% of Indians are considered financially literate. We're far below the global average as well. Wealth and investors, as I was saying, is growing. There was actually a Goldman Sachs study that said by 2027, there'll be about 100 million people in the country earning $10,000 or more. And financial assistance can't keep pace, right? Even if we try to get more human advisors, it's just not something that we could scale to the size of a country like India. So, so really, this is where AI comes in, right? We are, I think the text is a little faded, but with AI, we're really able to allow you to have a very personalized conversational experience uh, using an app, right? Or using WhatsApp or whatever that medium might be. Um, we're able to kind of analyze the data that you have. India's digital public infrastructure is great. So with things like Account Aggregator, MF Central, various other platforms out there, really able to kind of gather information about the user with their consent in a central place, which means you can see, in an ideal world, you can see their entire financial history from investments, credit, bank accounts, whatever that is, right? And make a sort of informed decision and advice on what they could do with that. Even sort of financial advisors today often don't take such a holistic view when it comes to investing. So, I mean, these are actually some screenshots from our app, right? So whether it's you want to start an SIP and you say, hey, I want to start with 10,000 rupees a month. My risk appetite is medium. How do I do it, right? Or you ask us to analyze your credit report. We can actually tell you, hey, you know what? You have some high interest loans, personal loans, and you have these investments. Why don't you take a loan against or take a credit line against your mutual funds instead? We look at your portfolio and give like a quick portfolio score as well as a report card, which is able to kind of analyze the data in more detail and again give you recommendations. So, there's a question. So yes, we are subscription based, but we've today made a lot of it free. Um, we also, from a business model standpoint, when you take a credit line from our platform, we do get some trail fee on that. So those are the two models we have right now. We're still very new. We launched in July last year, so about 7 months in. Um, so really the opportunity is quite amazing, right? And I don't think it's for one person or one app to solve. It really is connecting from the previous talk, right, about multi agents and agentic AI. You can really pull together multiple sort of layers here, allowing the user to get intelligence, personalized insights, as well as actionability, right? So that's looking at your portfolio, giving you some analysis, as well as allowing the user to execute on that. Because at scale, having a manual sort of process to do this is not something that is going to work. It also does not allow the kind of personalization that an app based platform would allow for. Um, so, often the answer is let's just use ChatGPT, right? I was chatting with somebody outside before this, and you can actually ask ChatGPT most of the questions you can ask MiFi as well. But really, what's happened over the past couple of years is there've been some amazing foundational models that have come out. But when it comes to specialized use cases with finance, healthcare, whatever it might be, it is on sort of individual companies and apps to kind of build a vertical that's specialized in that area, right? So if you go to ChatGPT and say, "What should I invest in?" it will give you an answer. But it is an LLM coming up with answers based on data that may not be current either. So it's a great starting point, but it's probably not the right way to approach this, right? So things like hallucinations and ensuring that data is accurate. So you need to take a bit of a hybrid approach. Again, going back to the earlier talk where can you just rely on the code to be 100% accurate? No, but if you take a hybrid approach where you're using LLMs for that conversational experience, understanding the user, but then you use more traditional means of answering questions using traditional financial models, which are built by investments experts, there's actually an opportunity to marry the two together and get to an accurate answer. Um, Also, scale. We last year, we launched a sort of referral program on the app, and there was a period of around 3-4 days where we had way more users than we expected. So there were like 8 to 15,000 users being added every day over 3 days. Um, the OpenAI bill for 3 days was around $1,000, which clearly is not scalable when it comes to consumer products, right? So I think it's important to think beyond just using an extremely large LLM to kind of solve all your problems and having API based models there, and really kind of fine tuning and customizing it to your needs. So you touched on this, and really the idea with sort of agentic platforms is, can you anticipate what the user wants? Can you kind of give them more than, say, if you say, "Hi, how are you?" just responding to that, right? If you say, "Can I invest in what are the best tech funds to invest in?" Really going beyond just showing tech funds, giving them more insights into what their existing portfolio looks like, and then some actionability from there as well. Also, kind of monitoring what's happening to your portfolio in real time is something that can really add value to the user, right? Um, and this is kind of a representational diagram more than anything else, but really with agentic systems, there's no end to how you could integrate with multiple platforms out there, right? Whether it's news, market data, credit scoring, execution platforms. Really, it's endless, and it's a complex problem to solve. But I do think that multiple people need to try and solve this. Yeah, so really the question is not whether AI will change wealth management, because it is being applied today in multiple sort of use cases, whether it's consumer applications, B2B applications, and especially in a country like India, where scale is a problem and a challenge rather, it becomes more and more important. Questions? Okay. I'm sorry, could you just start again? Sure. So one of the things we so one of the things that we do on our platform, and maybe if time permits, I'll do a quick 1-minute demo, is giving people starter questions, right? So you come in, you can ask a simple question like, what is my portfolio score? Or you can look at a mutual fund, and it shows you a bunch of details, and below that we give the user sort of starter questions. What is expense ratio? Show me the expense ratio of this fund. So we kind of prompt users through a path and a journey that allows them to kind of get more comfortable. So that's how we kind of address that problem. There was, yeah. Sure. So we've actually, so last year we were still using OpenAI to a large extent, but we have now completely moved to open source LLMs that are hosted on, self-hosted on cloud. So over there, there's no API-based cost. It's entirely the GPUs, which are still expensive, but not quite as expensive as utilizing OpenAI. You can also do a lot of other things, optimizing on the number of tokens that are used in the prompts that are there. You can use caching. There are many other mechanisms you can use, even if you're using OpenAI. There's yeah, sure. Can I just take one more question?
So when you say about all these things, right? Like let's say the mutual funds apps and those kinds of apps, they are ready to provide the data for you. They will provide the permissions to take that information. But what about the banking sectors? Let's say if
What about, sorry?
banking sectors.
Banking.
So
So-
mostly like the banking sectors will have the sensitive information. So how do you basically deal with this? Because like they need to understand my FDs and all those. Where am I spending? Where is it like going?
So RBI launched something called Account Aggregator about 2018, technically, I think, maybe even earlier. So Account Aggregator is essentially a framework that allows you to get brokerage data, mutual funds, bank accounts, insurance, GST. So all of that, in theory, you can get via that platform. The quality of the data is, banking is supposed to be very good. Brokerage is getting better, and insurance is still very new. So theoretically, you should be able to get all sort of investment and banking data. Yeah.
Until the AI was not very popular or LLMs were not accessible, ET money, money control, Grow, etc. Everyone was compiling data and giving. They were not giving recommendations because advisory role is out of like their mandate from SEBI per se. Like SEBI is not allowed to do that. But it is more or less same thing, right? Because fintech is very narrow intelligence, like niche intelligence per se. So how is it different than them?
So we are SEBI registered, by the way. So we have a license. The advice we give is within the regulation. So it's not the LLM. So that when I was talking about the hybrid approach, it isn't an LLM giving advice. It is actually the LLM used for conversational layers. And then we have more traditional financial models that give you recommendations. So that's how we're kind of addressing that part of it.
So basically, LLMs, like natural language processing, that is the capability that is being used for interaction per se, not
Correct.
its decision making or rest of the knowledge per se, right?
We don't do any decision making using LLMs when it comes to financial recommendations.
It's
That's
just for
right.
conversation, NLP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. So on the knowledge part, one thing to add is also, we're not trying to be an education only platform. We're trying to educate the user as they go through a journey of asking about funds and things like that. So it's very bite sized, which hopefully makes it easier. The information, as you said, has to be vetted. Most of the data we use for the knowledge part is actually from Amphi, SEBI's website, and things like that. We don't kind of make up answers. Your second point on understanding the user, I do think that we're not where I would like to be. Like you said, until people actually make decisions, actually make investments, it's hard to understand their true risk appetite. So, we are experimenting with things which aren't live yet, but we do hope to kind of use more user data and what they are doing to kind of assess their true risk appetite versus kind of making any assumptions from what they say. um, I'm going to do a very short, like 30-second demo because I feel like there are a lot of questions. So here you can come in and say something like, find me tech funds, right? So it's dev, so bear with me. So as you can see, the language, the typing, is pretty sort of not. Oh, fine. Okay, so two things. One is we have starter questions here where if you're not sure what to ask, you can kind of go from there. But also when you go into specific questions like finding tax saver funds, here we're kind of giving you a quick glance and a quick sort of summary of what we have here. And, we have follow-up questions on what you could ask. Compare them based on risk, compare them overall. You could, so if you say compare, we actually give you a quick answer on what we think this would be the best fund, and we rank them based on expense ratio, risk, returns, etc. You can also say, I want to invest. So here again, sort of allowing you to kind of start in a very simple manner, get into sort of what you want to do. An SIP, adjust your risk level, and then kind of very quickly get into kind of recommendations from there as well. Unfortunately, we don't have execution yet, but the idea is that we will get there as well. Maybe I need a couple more questions quickly. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So one thing we did pretty quickly was also move to open source LLMs that we host. So we're not sending it to any sort of external hosting. So that's one thing. So it doesn't go outside our servers and networks anymore. But even if it did, right? So we already encrypt any PII, so PAN, date of birth, any other data that we get is encrypted and stored in our database versus exposing it out. And we don't send that to the LLM. It doesn't take action right now. Even if it could take action, it would still require you to intervene. But we're a few months from that. You'd have to use whatever platform you have today to do that. Uh-huh. So user requests are authenticated, right? So we have tokens for your requests, and that user can only access that user's data, which we verify on the server. So when the token comes through, we know who the request is coming from. So you can't change the ID and get someone else's data. But the LLM is not accessing the data. There are APIs accessing data. Yes, but there's no PII in that data. The data would be numbers and text that's going to be responded back to the user. So there's no chance of it leaking to another user, so to speak. Okay, let's go to the back, maybe. So on credit score today, what we do is we basically look at your credit report, look at the funds that okay, something's wrong with Dev, but otherwise I would have been able to show it to you. We basically look at your credit report and say, hey, looks like you have some personal loan at 25% interest. Here's a way to get a credit line against your investments at 10.5%. So we make recommendations like that. So allowing you to kind of save on interest and improve your credit management. Sorry? So on the on the credit side, it would be based on your credit report and what you have. On the investment side, we do make recommendations based on what you hold. So if you say, what is my portfolio score? It's kind of looking at your own portfolio and then giving you recommendations based on what you hold. So it is specific to that. On the stocks front, we are a little weaker. We're focusing currently on mutual fund users. So on that front, it is a lot better than stocks. So it gives you a quick report card saying here are some areas you could improve. So if you said reduce expense ratio, it kind of gives you recommendations based on the funds you hold. Maybe I'll take a different person. Yeah. PAN. Yeah. So we today get your assuming you can pick what accounts you consent to as well. So assuming you consent to everything we ask for, it's mutual funds and brokerage data right now. Yeah. So that's using account aggregator. So account aggregator is an API-based solution that RBI provides, and there are I think 15 registered account aggregators today. So we get it through them. Those are RBI registered entities. Phone number, OTP. Phone number, OTP, PAN. All three need to sync. Correct. Correct. We don't use insurance right now. We use only yes, but yes. In theory, insurance, if you have GST, that bank accounts, fixed deposits, brokerage, mutual funds, all of it should come. Correct. So all the text that you see is LLMs, essentially kind of either understanding what the user says and using the response from our APIs to give it back to you. So when you say something like "find me tech funds," that kind of understanding that text is done using LLM. But you can ask more complex questions like "find me tech funds with returns more than 10%, low expense ratio." So all of that breakdown is happening using LLMs. You can also ask things like, what are my riskiest funds? What are my best performing funds? So the understanding is happening using LLMs, essentially. The
Are you
understanding of the
training your
language.
own data?
Sorry?
Are you training on a base model or doing any sort of reinforcement or supervised fine tuning? Any
So
of those stuff?
we are experimenting with reinforcement learning,
Okay.
but we have fine-tuned base models essentially. Yeah. Okay. You can use everything that doesn't require you to require us to give you recommendations on your portfolio. So search. If you want to do credit report, you could do that, but that does require PAN. But starter portfolios, you can do some things. It's not. Yeah. No, I completely understand, which is also why we're SEBI registered, we're accountable. You go and complain. Yeah, like if you go and complain about us, it is very painful, even if we're in the right. So, yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, one thing we go on reinforcing is that we're a platform for long term investing, not for you to make quick money in 2 weeks, 2 months. Uh, honestly, I would say your minimum time horizon should be 3 years. Anything sort of less than that does not make sense. Can I keep going? Are we okay on?
Yeah, we can just keep it at the end, please. Okay.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah, of course. Please.
Okay. So interesting you say that. We are also having B2B conversations where we are looking to power some AMC, so mutual fund houses. We are talking to some banks to see if we can plug into their app and be that conversational assistant there. So that's definitely something we will do. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kiran. Thank you so much. It was phenomenal. Thanks, Kiran, once again. It was really phenomenal. Thanks so much. And yes, guys, just want to inform that today, as today it's International Women's Day, and there are many ladies who are here. So we are very thankful that you have your time today and you came here. So can we have a huge round of applause for them, please, everybody? Thank you so much. And we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll keep a point for sure. Nice question for sure. So yes, we will. Yeah, we'll move to the next speaker of the day, and his name is Turja, and he will talk about approaches to scaling AI agent adoptions across an enterprise. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? He's from Big Four.
Hello. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, first of all, guys, right, and girls, for being here on a Saturday, right? I know, I mean, it's complicated, right, to be here on a Saturday, and I hope that this session is good for you guys, right? So, the first session, right, from our Geekian's friend, right, was about AI agents, right, architecture patterns on AI agents. But how do you scale it, right? Let's say at an enterprise level, right? For example, I represent an enterprise with roughly $40 billion of revenue, right? So, and 450,000 people. So how do we think about this at an enterprise scale, right? So because the scale is what differs, right? You can always do a POC or a proof of concept on your laptop, right? To some extent, but how do you scale it at an enterprise level? So this is the idea of this talk. So just a second, there is some problem here. Yeah, perfect. Sorry. Okay, so a very brief thing about me is that I have been in the industry for roughly 14 years, working in some MNCs. Right now, I'm a global platform leader at one of the big four consulting companies. So I spend most of my day in understanding what are some of the technologies that are, let's say, critical for an enterprise to get right? So that we don't miss the game and we don't end up doing stuff that really doesn't add a lot of value. And so, for example, when AI agents thing came up, right, one of the things that we would want to do is understand how AI agents can kind of have a bigger role in our industry. So this is just a disclaimer slide. So this will be very, let's say, very simple. And for the two of you who have been in my last talk, so there is some overlap. Okay, so just so that you guys know. So very quickly, we will start with some context setting, an overview of the concept called platforms, and then we'll go to AI agents and some closing thoughts. So this is something that I think some of you might have seen me speak about, right, over time. If you have seen me in the when I speak about things. So if you see, we are getting billions of dollars invested into this thing called GenAI. So if you see this graph, in 2024, in the first 3 quarters, we spent more money, investors pumped in more money into GenAI than last 2022 and 2023. So which are these companies who are getting the most of the money? We know OpenAI. I think everybody here knows OpenAI. We know XAI, Donald Trump's best friend, right? Elon Musk's thing, right? XAI. Safe Super Intelligence is another company which is from Ilya, one of the co-founders. So these are some of the companies who are getting billions of dollars as investment. Why are investors spending so much money into this thing called OpenAI? So if you see this analysis that was done, what we have seen is that if you compare the top 200 SaaS companies with the top 200 AI companies, the top 200 AI companies are making the same revenue in 1/3 of the time. So if you see a $30 million annualized revenue is being made in 1/3 of the time. So essentially what we are trying to say here, guys, is that AI is growing faster than SaaS based on this. So there is a lot of money being invested in AI and AI is growing at a huge rate. Let's look at OpenAI's poster child, right? GenAI's poster child, OpenAI. So in 2023, OpenAI had a revenue of $1.6 billion. Okay, good. In 2024, in 1 year, that revenue kind of doubled to $3.7 billion. This is like tremendous amount of money we are talking about, right? From 1.6 to 3.7. Just imagine, right? And that too in 1 year. No other industry is seeing this sort of growth. In October 2024, that time, OpenAI closed a valuation of $6.6 billion round, and they was valued at $157 billion at that time. Now there are reports that OpenAI is in talks to secure up to another $40 billion. Just imagine, this is not even $1 million, it's $1 billion we are talking about, with a valuation of roughly $340 billion, which is 1/3 of a trillion. This is the kind of money we are talking about, right? This is like crazy sort of money. So the question is, if investors are pumping in so much money into this thing called GenAI, are enterprises getting, please. Yes. Yeah. Yes, but see, again, I mean, they will make, see, for example, if you see, even with this DeepSeek context, even before they signed that Stargate deal, which is $500 billion, they've already signed it, right? So that SoftBank is going to put in another $200 billion. See, at the end of the day, see, the specific numbers doesn't matter, right? Overall, holistical, if you look at the picture, a lot of money is getting poured into this thing called GenAI. But are enterprises getting the benefit out of it? So we are seeing all of these startups which are getting a lot of money, valuation is skyrocketing. But when you speak to enterprise CEOs, so this was an CEO survey that was done by PwC. They spoke to roughly 1,500 CEOs, roughly, okay? And they asked them a very simple question. They said, CEO, can you tell me the money you have pumped into GenAI, are you getting the benefit out of it? Did you make an ROI out of it? Very simple question. If you see, only 34% said yes. That means 66% of CEOs are essentially saying, I poured in money, but as of now, I have not got any return on investment. So that's something they're saying, right? Similarly, if you see, 33% of CEOs are saying that I have confidence in GenAI, but that means 67% of CEOs are saying I don't have confidence, essentially, to embed C. So you can see there is this gap. There is some sort of a gap, right? At one point of time, the startups are pouring in so much, getting so much money with so much exaggerated valuation, but at the same time, if you see, the CEOs are reporting. So the enterprise system is much more complicated. Anytime, right? We are much more risk averse. So as a consumer, B2C, let's say chat GPT, right? You go there, you ask something, let's say it gives the wrong answer. What is the worst it will happen? What is the worst it can happen, right? At the end of the day. But the moment you embed that GenAI into your enterprise business, let's say you are using GenAI to file your tax return for your client, and it does something wrong, and now your client has to pay, let's say, $1 billion of fines. So the stakes are much higher, right? Essentially. So this is the AI dilemma, right? Everybody is kind of facing, right? So should I wait, so to speak, see how things are turning out, let the tech stabilize a little bit, but at the same time, if my competitors don't wait, I will lose out on the game, right? Essentially. So this is a dilemma that everybody is doing. So again, section 1 at a very high level, we know there is a lot of money being pumped into the overall system, but at the same time, we know that enterprises are not getting a lot of benefit out of it, right? These are two things we can say. With this thought process, if we very quickly go to the second part, the second part I will like to introduce to you, maybe some of you are already aware of this concept of a platform, okay? So what is a platform? A platform is basically something that a company builds internally. So it's not exposed to the client outside. It's something you build internally so that other solutions can build on top of that. So let's say you are all working on some sort of a technology solution, right? Some is writing Java, React, whatever, right? So all of you might need to do observability or logging, right? Everybody want to log, or some of the, let's say all your API calls you want to log somewhere. So you could always write your own thing. You try to understand what is the best logging framework, code it, obviously an option. So just imagine there are 200 teams in an enterprise, all of them writing their own logging stuff. That is not a very good thing, right? That's not how an enterprise needs to work. Or what you do, you build this thing called a platform. It's an internal platform where you have the logging stuff already handled. So what you do, you just use that part from that platform and do it. So essentially what you are doing, all of your solutions are standing on top of this thing called platform. So this is a concept. Again, this is not very, very important. Just understand that there is this thing concept called a platform. So again, what is the concept of platform engineering? Platform engineering is the concept of building a platform. But very important to understand, a platform is different from the solution that is built on top of the platform. So platform is internal. It is not exposed to a customer. Okay. It is self-service. All developers and engineers are the consumers of a platform. So you have a platform. You, all developers and engineers will use this platform to build a solution or a product, and that product will be used externally. Okay, very important to understand. So if you see, this kind of shows that thought process. So we have this thing called infrastructure. Everything needs infrastructure, right? We need compute, we need network, we need storage. This could be Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, nobody cares, right? So you have this thing called infrastructure platform. On top of this, this is the thing we are calling a platform, a digital platform. So a digital platform is some of reusable components and tools you have kept here. So the observability thing I was talking about, the backup thing, let's say, for example, all of this will be here. If they're here, you don't need people at the top, product and service teams, to think about observability again and again. So most of us will operate at this level. Most of us are building products and solutions for clients or usage, right? For somebody to use it. But there are people in your companies also who might also be building platforms. These are the internal platform teams. So again, very important to understand, we have this team who is building products, who clients are using. Those products are built on top of this thing called a digital platform. That digital platform is an internal platform which is trying to ensure that anything which is reusable, repeatable will be there. Okay. So again, I will not go through this, but this slide, this kind of shows that funnel. Again, same thing, but very important to understand. We have the infrastructure platform. We have this platform engineering team who built this digital platform. The digital platform exposed their stuff. So let's say the observability thing I was talking about, that is here, it is exposed as an API. Now this is where you guys are here. You guys are building, let's say, a payment gateway, or let's say a website. Just an example, let's say you are building a brokerage website. Then you are calling this API from the platform, right? And to build it, and this is what the feature is showing. Again, same concept I'm trying to show in different ways, because this will all make sense when I go to the AI agent thing. Same thing, again, another view, just to reinforce the message. We have the platform managed by the platform team. API has been exposed, and see, these are all of the product teams. So because it's already here, every single product team does not have to build it again and again. So we are saving money for the firm. We are doing something in a reusable manner. Okay, very quick. Why is it important for us to know about platform? It's not just I came here and I just started talking about platforms and you have to listen to me. Gartner is saying this is the 4th important industry trend for 2024. Okay, and why are they saying that to high level? If you see, one of the things that today has happened is, anybody who is an engineer or a developer by trade here, right? Most of us, I think, right here. So if anybody who is doing it, you will see that the level of stuff that we have to keep in our mind now is mind-boggling. So you have to understand Kubernetes, right? You have to understand, let's say, front-end frameworks. Today it's React.js, tomorrow Knockout, all of those stuff, right? It's like crazy. Now you're having to understand OpenAI, then telemetry, Yaga, distributed processing. All of this, who is doing? The engineer. Essentially, the cognitive load on an engineer, when I started my career 14, 15 years back, we were just coding, man. We just used to get in, just write some code and get out, right? In a sense. But now this observability thing, everything is on the developer or the engineer. So you can see now, microservice, Kubernetes, CodeShip, Docker, Terraform, everything we have to understand. So this cognitive load is increasing, and the platform is a way to reduce the cognitive load for your developers. Because some of this stuff you are taking care at the platform level. And if you can take care of it at a platform level, your developers, every single individual developer does not have to do it. So just keep this in mind. And as you can see, it's not that this is very new or something. Out of 1,000 people, just 80 people are saying they have no plans to implement platforms. This is a Google survey done. That means out of 100 people, let's say, just to simplify it, 92 people are already using platforms or trying to use platforms. So if here we have 50 people, let's say in this meetup, then already most of you are already in some way or the other in a company who is using a platform. It's just that you might not be exposed to it, but there is a platform which is powering all of this. And a good platform takes time. So if you see, most of the leading organizations have dedicated teams who have been working on this thing called a platform for 5 years. So you can reach, if you don't know whether your company has a platform, reach out to your company bosses and say, guys, do we have an internal platform? Most likely you have something. I have been building the platform for my company for the last 3 to 4 years, and it's worth the wait. So once you have the platform, I told you, right? Gartner said it was the fourth most important trend. But why? Just because Gartner is saying, should I just do it, right? I need some proof, right? Because I'm investing time and money in building this infrastructure platform, this digital platform. Why? So if you see, one of the things that they're saying is companies who have successfully adopted this concept of platform engineering are 8 times more likely to be able to release code changes successfully into production within an hour. 8 times more. So this is something just beyond this AI thing and all of that. This is something that is cool. That is something interesting. You should all check this out in one way or the other. This concept of platform engineering, concept of internal platforms. Okay. So I will leave it at that for now. This itself can be, I'm a platform engineering ambassador actually. So I know this, I have been doing this for a long time. But anyways, I just wanted to give you this concept of a platform. So what did we do in section 1? In section 1, we understood that there is a gap. So there is, enterprises are not getting, let's say, the complete ROI from their investment in GenAI. And in section 2, I introduced you to this concept of something called a platform. Again, at a very simple level, it is an internal thing, exposes its functionalities via an API. Solution teams use those APIs to build solutions. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to this thing called AI agents. Again, I will not spend a lot of time here. I think our first speaker kind of explained to you what is this thing called AI agents. Again, it is something that kind of has some, it takes some inputs, provides some outputs, has some context. I hope all of you have some idea about what an AI agent is. So even though an AI agent conceptually seems cool, right? And it's something that we feel that, okay, it's nice. And you take a laptop, you use AutoGen or Creway.ai, and you build your first agent relatively quickly, kind of like the hello world of agents. But the moment you try to deploy something like this to get actual business value for your customers, that is the most important thing, right? We need to ensure that this thing makes us money as a company. If something doesn't make us money consistently, then we cannot continue it, right? That's why if you see, the enterprise CEOs are now getting kind of frustrated to some extent, right? Because they're not making money out of their investment. So we need to do something differently. So we need to think, what are some of the ways we can embed this thing called agentic AI into our enterprise with only one and only one value? What is the thing that we should keep in mind? This agents needs to bring us money at the end of the day. That money could be actual money, or it could be savings as well. Somehow it will save our time. That is also equivalent to money, right? So one of the things that is very important, this is something that MIT people did, right? So what they're trying to do, they're trying to create a repository of all agents in the world. Every single person who has built an agent in production, deployed it somewhere, this Microsoft, MIT people are saying, guys, let's create an inventory of all agents in the world. So I will just go to the actual thing. So this is the, oh, sorry, this will maybe come up. Yeah. So this is the actual MIT AI agent index. Today it has 69 AI agents. In future, they will keep on adding more and more AI agents to it, right? So as you can understand, before using something, what you need to do, you need to first know it is available. So let's say if you did not know this meetup was happening, how will you attend it, so to speak, right? So first thing is, if you ask me, how do I gain knowledge in Bangalore? I will first say, okay, let's go to a site where I can see all of the meetups, man. Then I can choose which meetup will help me, right? For my own stuff. So if you see, these are all of the AI agents that they have listed, everything curated. And if anybody here has done ML, I think Shubham knows. So there's this thing called ML card, model card. So a model card is nothing but it describes a model. So these guys have introduced this concept of a AI agent card. So a AI agent card is kind of like our PAN card. So it identifies an agent uniquely. It has all of the attributes that you need to know about an agent. So what that says? It has basic information like a website, short description, who is the developer, right? What are the system components? What are the guardrails? You can see just by reading this, you now have a very good idea about what this agent can do, who built it, what was the data that it was tested on, a very comprehensive sort of a view on that agent. So now think you are in a big company. Let's say somebody is in Infosys. What if you could build something like this in Infosys so that there is something called Infosys AI agent index. So everybody in Infosys who has built an AI agent will put their AI agent listed here. So that the next time you try to build something, you will first come here and see if already anybody has built it. Number one. If somebody has built it, you will not build it. You will reuse it. Try to use it, right? And if somebody has not built it, you will build it and then put it there. Okay? And this is something that should be part of what? The platform. Okay, so this is how, that's why I introduced you to this concept of a platform. So whenever you think of something that should be used by many people in your organization, think, okay, can it be done at the platform layer? Because that's a shared reusable layer. So by itself, just this concept of this AI agent index, you have no idea how powerful it is in a big enterprise. Because in a big enterprise, people don't know. You might not even know the person sitting beside you is building the same software that you are building. You are building a chatbot kind of thing, he's also building the same thing, and you have no idea. But if everybody use something like this is happening at a world level, this is happening at a MIT public level, but obviously our private agents will not be here, right? Any time, because those are our IP. We will not want it here. But every company can think of building something like this internal. This is what we are doing at the company that I work for as part of the platform. Okay, so this is one concept called AI agent index. Okay, let me again go here. Just a second, guys. Yeah, okay, perfect, good. So I showed you the same thing. This is the AI agent. They have roughly 69 agents now, and they will keep on adding. And this is the agent card concept. So this is something like our PAN card, voter card, passport. So this is like the agent's passport. So it tells everything that you need to know about the agent. This is very important so that you can decide whether you can use it or not, right? Otherwise, how will you know, right? If there are so many agents. Sample agent card for the AI agent. Okay, perfect. So this is one thing. So this was the level one. What was level one? I am just listing all of the agents in my company. I'm not doing anything with it. But the second level is this concept of an agent marketplace. So the same concept to some extent, you again have an inventory of all agents, but now you are starting to consume those agents directly from there. So in the past one, what was happening? You see the agent, you cannot consume it from there. You see the developer's name, you call him and say, man, I saw your agent, can I use it? What is the process to use it, for example, right? But here we are taking it a level further. We are creating this concept of an agent marketplace. Again, this is something we are working on and many companies are working on. Internally, within an enterprise also, people are thinking about these things. And externally, HubSpot, right? One of the CRMs, and Dharmesh Shah is the CTO and founder. He has created this thing called agent.ai. Maybe some of you have heard about this. Again, let me go to it very quickly. It's a very cool thing. So they call it the professional network for AI agents. Okay, so these are all agents mostly tied to HubSpot in some way or the other to use it, kind of like their network. So if you see, these are all featured agents. So this is, for example, let's say I want to use HubSpot. So HubSpot is a CRM. Forget about it. Don't think about HubSpot. It's just a company. So what they're essentially doing, guys, they've kept all of these agents. So it's an agent index. So I now know the agent, obviously, but I can also consume that agent. I can also use that agent. If I click on Go and I have a HubSpot account, I can actually start consuming that agent and I can also start building agents and publishing there. Okay, so this is a marketplace. See, so many agents are there. Every day people are building, see, video script generator, right? So many agents are there. For example, Shubham was showing us a code reviewer agent, I think, right? The kind of like the reflection pattern. You can build that and put it here as an example. Obviously, there will be some governance process. Otherwise, this will be a mess. But just think about this idea. Again, this is happening in the public space. Now think, can we do it at Infosys? Can we do it at TCS? So first step was just listing out the agents. No consumption, nothing. Just a simple list, kind of like an Excel of all agents. Second step is directly from there, we are now consuming agents. So now that simple inventory has evolved to this concept of an agent marketplace. Okay. So this was the second step. So these are all things you have to think of when you are essentially, sorry, I think I did not. Yeah, it will come right now. Okay, so these are all things that you will have to think of when you are thinking of agents at an enterprise scale. Again, this is very important, guys. Creating an agent on your laptop, playing around with it is one thing which is very important, obviously, but this is one level. But this is the high stakes, right? This is where you are using agents to power your digital transformation across a 450,000 employee organization, right? So at this level, you need some of this stuff. Otherwise, you will never be able to be successful at an enterprise level. Okay, so again, another example, we all know Salesforce Agent Force, right? They are making a lot of news with this. Same sort of a concept. There's a list of agents. As you can see, you can say what is an agent's role, some of the trusted data that that agent will use, some of the actions that that agent can fill, the guardrails you can put, and then you can create your own agent. Again, it will work in the context of your Salesforce data. So it has all of the connectors with Salesforce. So very quickly, any company who is using Salesforce as their CRM, anybody who is using Salesforce as CRM now can very quickly create an agent, put it on the Salesforce Agent Force marketplace, and consume from there. Okay. So we discussed two concepts. We discussed one concept of having a catalog of all agents without any consumption, which was the MIT thing. And now we discuss this concept of having a marketplace for agents. But the moment you think about marketplace, the cost comes. What is the cost? So then you get into this business of agent monetization, right? So how do I price my agents? Right? Till now, we used to price software, right? We used to say, okay, how pricing used to work? Pricing used to work like, say, SaaS software. Like if you buy a SaaS software, you will say, okay, I need 200 licenses, right? One license costs 500 rupees. 200 licenses cost, let's say, 10,000 rupees. You give 10,000 rupees, you will get 200 licenses for a year. That's how SaaS used to work at a very high level, right? But now we need to think about how will we monetize our agents. Again, just see that you are moving up the stack. First level was POC, you are doing on your laptop. Second level, you just said, okay, I will not monetize, I will not do anything. I will just list them in a single place. Third level, I said, okay, I will consume from there, but everything is free. Fourth level, I am saying, no, I cannot give everything for free. I want to make money out of my agents. Again, very important at an enterprise level because things are not free, right? Compute is not free, storage is not free, our effort is not free. So if we don't make money out of those AI agents, people will stop building AI agents, right? So if you see in agent monetization today, SaaS, AI SaaS is the maximum, if you see, the maximum growth is for AI SaaS sort of applications, any sort of applications which is embedded with AI. So what are the different agent pricing models? Again, this is all common sense, right? This is not very complicated. So what was the traditional model? You can always do your stuff in a traditional model. You can say, okay, one agent, entire year, I will give you the agent, I will give you the license to use the agent. It will cost me $10,000 per year. That is one. So that is the traditional seat-based flat rate, right? That was one model. So you can do that. You can say one agent will cost you $10,000. But what is the problem there? The problem is, let's say that agent consumes a lot of tokens, but I will still only get $10,000. I will not get more, right? So my cost can be more. My cost might be $50,000, but I have only charging $10,000. So this model, this traditional model was okay with SaaS applications. But in AI or agentic AI-based applications, there is a problem with this sort of a model because you don't control the number of prompts and the number of tokens, right? It can be any number of tokens and you pay by a token. So if you use more tokens, then you get a little bit complicated. Then you go, okay, I will not do this. Let's do consumption-based. Consumption-based means what? I say, okay, I am giving you the agent. If you use 100 tokens, I will ask you to pay for the token cost and I will take a 5% extra. That is my charge. That is my effort to build the agent. I build the agent, I tested the agent, I put so much effort, I will make money in that way. So that's a consumption-based agent. So consumption-based agent is how it's making money. It is making money based on the consumption of tokens. So how much token I have consumed at an agent level plus that markup. But the most important thing, this is the game changer, is outcome-based agent. Some people are going with this. Outcome-based agent is saying, I will only charge you if my agent has been able to do the work successfully. So let's take an example of a booking agent. Okay. So you are saying every successful booking, you will pay me $10,000. If my agent is not able to book for you, I will not charge you anything. Okay. So this is the third, and this is very complex to implement, but this is where the world is trying to go to. So we as an enterprise should think about these things at least, right? So should I charge my agents? Because now I have a marketplace. I have created them, but now how do I monetize my agent? So I have to think, okay, should I do a traditional model? Should I do a consumption-based model? Or should I do an outcome-based model? Okay. There's this concept with all of this is this concept of a value generated per token. So this is very important. This is called VPT. So what this means essentially, guys, is that, as I said, right? Am I generating any value? Is my AI agent actually achieving an outcome? Or am I wasting your tokens, basically? So if I have created this calendar scheduling agent that he was showing, right? Has it been successfully able to schedule my meeting or cancel my meeting? If yes, then only I have generated value and then I will charge you for that value. So this is the concept of value per token, which is aligned with this outcome-based pricing. This I will skip. So three things we did, right? So what we did, we said, guys, agents are complex, maybe simple when we are doing it in a laptop, but now it's complex. So we have done an inventory, number one. Then we moved to phase 2, which was a marketplace. Phase 3, we monetize those agents, right? Very nice. But now the concept is, we will need so many agents, but then how does the enterprise build agents, deploy agents, monitor agents at scale? How do you do it, right? Now, let's say your company has 25,000 agents. Everything is all in that marketplace. Everything has a monetization model. But how do you monitor if that agent, somebody was asking, right? What happens if that agent fails? How do you know it failed? Right? What happens if the memory is not persisting between two agent calls? So how do you manage an agent end to end? So this is where this concept of an AI agent factory comes. So an AI agent factory concept, this is now kind of every single enterprise today is thinking about this in a very, very serious way. So the AI agent factory is a concept which will create, deploy and manage AI agents at scale. Now, how will it do that? So it will use this concept of a AMP, agent management platform. Okay. So this is your kind of, not your traditional thing. This is a elevated concept that has come in this Gen AI, agentic AI era. This is the concept of you have this new sort of a control plane, and this control plane helps you understand which agent called what agent, when did that agent fail, how do I do the retry. So all of those things will be handled by this agent management platform. Again, this is very important at an enterprise scale, because if you have 25,000, 30,000 agents, you cannot just debug every agent individually, right? That doesn't work in that way. So again, this is, I will skip this slide for a second because in the interest of time. So this is a typical architecture, which is basically followed in sort of a agent management platform. So if you see, this is the marketplace. We have a lot of agents. I am going there, I'm clicking on an agent. You see, this is the orchestration layer. It is also called an agent operating system, agent OS. Again, we don't have to get into a lot of this. This is stuff you can always Google and search and build yourself. But the concept is important. If you can take something out of this sort of meetups, it's important to take the concepts back so that then you can R&D and research on top of that, right? Because a meetup by itself will not be able to solve everything. So think in this way that I needed an agent marketplace. Very nice, I had it. I needed to monetize my agents to make money. I did that. But now I need an agent management platform to manage my agents. So something I need to manage the agents. Again, this is a platform-centric approach. So all of these things, guys, that I'm talking about, they need to be done at that platform level. You cannot expect every single team in your company to build and maintain their own agent management platform. That will not work. Centrally, somebody needs to build and manage this agent management platform, which will have everything. It will have the agent framework. It will have the agent memory management functionality. It will have an agent orchestrator, intelligent agent orchestrator, which can tell which agent to be executed after which in a workflow. The compute, the agent building configuration. All of this is part of the agent management platform. You build and manage agents using that platform. you host it on the agent marketplace, people consume it. Simple, right? Again, simple means not very simple, obviously, when you try to implement it at scale, but this is a concept. Okay. This is an industry example. This is something that many people are doing. So just search agent management platform, AI agent factory. You will see the industry has already moved to those kind of thought processes. So while we are doing POCs and kind of playing around with agents, right? The industry is already thinking, okay, if this thing really becomes as powerful as we think it would be, how do we manage it at scale, right? Because that's a different sort of a problem. Okay, this was a section 3. Very quickly, we said that the 2025 is the year of the AI agents. Everybody's saying that. Very nice. We know AI agents can do some very cool stuff, but do we have the capability within the enterprise to manage AI agents at scale? What do we need? 4 things I have shown here. There are many other things. We need a catalog of all the agents that is being used in the enterprise. We want to be able to have an agent marketplace. We want to have the concept of monetization of the agents. And finally, we also want to ensure that we have an agent management platform which can manage those agents. Some closing thoughts. Okay, again, some of this would be common. So see what is happening, right? I mean, while we are here playing around with, okay, will the AI agent be cool? Will AI agents really, is it hype? Is it not hype? But while we are doing that, the industry is not waiting for us. The industry has actually moved. So if you just see the rate at which it is moving, 2023 first half they released GPT-4. Already now O3 mini reasoning models have come. Tomorrow something else will come, right? DeepSeek came, everything kind of like, it's like happening at such a completely expedited pace. So we have to be agile. So we have to think ahead. We have to think, okay, if this AI agent thing really captures the audience as much as it has today, it's really so powerful, then how can I manage it at an enterprise scale? Secondly, if you see, 2 things are happening. The models are becoming kind of like magnitude of times cheaper. So if you see in 2 years, OpenAI has decreased their token cost 150 times. Huge decrease in the token cost, right? So stuff which was very, very expensive to do in 2023 is becoming very cheap. Because one of the things you will see, right? People will tell you, agent will not work because it consumes so many tokens. Because every time an agent is talking to another agent, essentially it's tokens, right? Tokens going from one agent to another, tokens coming back. But essentially, if the token price is so cheap, do we really care? Even if an agent uses 1 million token every day, do we really care? So over time, what we will see, hopefully, this trend will go down. Every year, even if the cost decreases 10 times, just imagine you can do 10 times more with that same money. Essentially, right? If the cost decreases 10 times, you are going to do 10 times more thing. This is the second thing. Third thing, as I said, brace for an agentic enterprise. This is coming, guys. So again, based on our analysis, based on talking with some of the leading strategy firms around the world, like Gartner, BCG, what we have understood, again, this I'm telling stuff that I'm doing at my company, we have understand that they are all saying that this thing called agentic AI is here to stay and disrupt the industry. This is kind of everybody saying the same thing, right? This is not like your metaverse hype. Everybody said metaverse will change the world, then nothing happened in that way. Blockchain, people are saying, no, this is not the same thing. This is something much more real. And you guys also feel it, right? Where every time you work with ChatGPT, you feel that this is something different. With metaverse and blockchain, none of us felt like that. But with generative AI, and obviously with AI agents, some of the cool stuff that now those guys are doing. And as I said, right, most of the problems that today are happening with agentic AI agents, LLMs, over time, they're getting better and better. DeepSeek did such innovations, right? So the cost came around so much less. So over time, you will see everything will happen in that way. And we were today, right now, in this 2025 kind of a time zone. So this agent things is really kind of hyping up. And the last thing is be future ready. So this is a nice quote that I always try to follow. Even within my team, I approach this. Our industry does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation. So agentic AI is trying to disrupt our industry, right? As individuals, we need to be aware of it. Obviously, we need to do POCs and stuff on our own laptop to learn about LangChain, LangGraph, all of that. But at the same time, think about how can this bring value for my CEO? How do I implement what I have done in my laptop at a scale? How do I solve this problem at scale? If you can solve this agentic AI problem at scale for your enterprise, then obviously we are kind of in a good situation. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Any questions? Otherwise, yeah, yes, sure.
Hi. Actually, here you throw a lot of thoughts about how enterprise is approaching the AI agents, especially the agents in index as well as a marketplace, and all those things are good. So, as long as the enterprise itself is going to develop their own agents, they can able to list down their marketplace pretty much. No, no. What I'm asking is, what I'm telling is, if the enterprise itself is going to build all their agents by themselves, it makes sense. Like they can list down in that index, marketplace, and also they can have the agent platform layer and everything. Most of the time, what happens, the enterprise itself will partner with many of the other companies, and they may try to make use of a lot of other agents, which is coming from outside. So in those cases, how this setup is going to help?
The two things. So first of all, that index doesn't only have to be agents you have built. Maybe you will
Okay.
mark it differently, but let's say you are using some agent that somebody, let's say a vendor is collaborating with you. They have this nice payroll agent and you want to use it rather than building it yourself, right? So you can always list it there. So listing, it's just a catalog, right? You can list anything as long as it makes sense to you. So from a listing perspective, there is no problem. From a running perspective, see, when an AI agent is running, it needs to run in your network mostly. So even if it's a vendor agent, it has to run in your network because the
Right.
data is in your network.
Right.
The moment it runs on your network, your agent management platform comes into play. So
Okay.
what you need to do essentially at a very high level, that enterprise AI, this is a vendor company who has those AI agents. They need to expose their interface or provide you the data, something they has to do, obviously.
Right.
But then that whole thing will run in your agent management platform. Because at the end of the day, you are the person who is using it, you are paying for it. You need to ensure that the logs are in your system, whether the agent did run, how much cost did that agent, did the agent fail, did the agent pass, did the agent really achieve the outcome? Because it's all on you, right? At the end of the day, it's your enterprise. You might buy stuff from others, but the accountability is still with us.
Correct. Is there any industry level standard in terms of this integration? Because as a vendor, I may build agent and I may sell it for 5 different enterprise. Each enterprise, if they have their own platform, I need to provide an API
Yes,
for
so
integrating
see,
all
again,
those things.
I mean, normally JSON and web protocol is an industry one. Now I heard this thing that MCP is coming, model context protocol, and all of that. So see, even if something is not there, these things will evolve. See, one of the things that we need to understand, right, that a solution will not come before a problem. A solution will come when the problem will come. So the moment there will be a problem, today there is not so much problem, as I said, because this is still new. All of the stuff that I'm showing to you today, some of the strategy teams within your company are thinking about that, but at ground level people are still building agents in their laptop as pilot, very frankly, right? It's not that people have deployed agents like 2000 go to any team, any of your colleagues, ask them, guys, are you running AI agents in production? The answer is mostly no. Even if they're running one or two agents, ask them, anybody is running more than 2000 agents? Zero maybe today, right? Except Salesforce and all of that. That's a different thing within our companies. So some protocols are already there. As I said, you can still rely on normal web JSON protocol. MCP is something that is very cool. I have seen. I have not researched it that much, and new stuff will come up.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Turja. It was really insightful. Thanks a lot once again. So, guys, I know you must be thirsty. I know it's almost three speakers down here right now. So we'll be having a short break now for 10 to 15 minutes of time. The tea coffee is lying over there. But yes, don't worry, we have snacks here also. But after this break, we'll be having one speaker. I mean, for 20 minutes of duration, then 10 minutes of lightning talk. Then we'll be having a snacks and also the networking for that. And before that, one very important will be playing a very short game wherein we will be having exciting gifts for first, second, and third prize. So please be here yourself, and we can play a short game after that. So please, break is for 10 minutes. Please come back on time. Yeah, it's there. Thank you. And his name is Aman Soni, and he will talk about adding attention to domains. And he is a AI and ML engineer in Geeky Ants. Can we please welcome him?
All right, is it visible? It is visible. Perfect. Okay, I would have started this talk with a small joke, but seeing the condition of stand-up comedians, I'd rather start with my topic. So that is adding attention to the domains. So starting from my topic only, what do you think about AI? What actually is AI? If anyone wants to volunteer. Anybody? Yeah, perfect. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, that's one nice definition. If you would have asked me 3 or 4 years back, what actually is AI? I would have a very narrow scope of answering that. That is from the machine learning and the deep learning perspective, right? We have a lot of data. We have tabular data. We have unstructured data, and then we are planning it in a way to feed it into our system so that it can answers the question on the basis of that. There was no concept of LLMs. There was no concept of generative AI as such, right? Then comes the part of 2021, where there comes the LLM, where there comes the open AI, right? Then we were introduced to generative AI. Then we were introduced to answering the questions those you were asking to that, right? So that was only possible because of the data that we were producing, and we were feeding that to the system so that it can answers our question. Perfect. So there was certain uh, okay, so in this talk what we are going to include, first one is the agents, right? We have seen a lot of talks on this platform as well. Shubham mentioned it, and all those two speakers as well, they have mentioned it. What is agent? Then after that we have LLM, then we have the vector databases. All right. So I think the vector database right now is a very big thing, because generative AI or LLM, you can say, are only trained on the 5% of the total available data, right? That means it is only trained on the 5% of the publicly available data. What if you want to get the answers from the question on your basis on own data, right? If you have your own data, you have your own spreadsheet, if you have unstructured data, how are you supposed to get the answers from the LLM on that data, right? That is one thing where the vector database come into the picture, and the LLMs for sure. Yeah. This will be the flow of the presentation. This will be the flow of the entire talk. First, we'll have a look about the case studies. What is actually being done? What is like the good practice of doing things, right? Then we have the idea visualization. The majority of things from the LLMs, the majority of things from the AI that has been already covered by the three talks that we have seen earlier. So I'll try to mold it in a way that it is more of an idea visualization kind of presentation, so that in the end you can create some your own ideas. You can brainstorm on those ideas so that you can create some good and viable product from that. Then after that, we have the impact on the different domains. We have multiple domains to work on in the AI as well. So third step will be that. And the fourth step will be explainability. So I think in every talk, everybody have mentioned it. You need to be accountable for the system that you are building, right? It should be explainable in a term that, okay, so if it is giving you some sort of suggestion on the basis of the previous data, it should actually tell you what were the parameters those were considered earlier as well, so that this was the entire output from that model. Perfect. All right, so we'll start from the healthcare. We'll start from a story. Okay, so you are living in a neighborhood, and in the morning, you take your dog for a walk, right? And your neighbor is there, and her daughter is having some sort of issues in her back, right? They have been to multiple hospitals. They have like had a conversation with a lot of doctors, and no one was able to actually find what actually the issue is, right? So this is a case, and you are a software developer or you are a tech guy, and the open AI and the LLMs are just came into the picture, right? Then you give her a suggestion. Why don't you try using LLM? Why don't you feed the entire reports of your previous visit? Why don't you like feed everything that you have for that particular patient, right? Then what the lady did is she took all the reports, she took all the feedbacks, and pasted that as it is in the LLM, right? What happened next? It gave the results those were not given by the 17 doctors combined, right? So it was able to predict, okay, so this is the problem, the daughter of you is facing, right? So this is the first case study. Then second case study is, okay, so this scenario is done. Okay, then after that COVID comes, right? And you can't go outside. Of course you have faced it. You can't go outside, and there are a lot of things. And one of the patient, there is somebody who got infected from the COVID-19, and there is no cure for that at particular time. There was no vaccine available for that at that particular moment. Then what you did was you took all the reports of that patient, and also the kind of okay, so you have added a lot of context from the basis of the books as well, right? Those are available to you. Then after that, AI was able to predict a medicine that was related to arthritis. It was somewhat related to like, okay, so these are the kind of things that I've been like facing. You should take this medicine, or you should do something with this medicine. So what you did was you sent an email to FDI, right? And FDI tested it, and it sorry FDA, and it approved it. Reason, because it was so much close to predicting a drug, so that it can easily vanish away that particular problem, right? It wasn't of course that 100% sure, but still it was somewhat similar. So on the basis of that particular DNA, on the basis of that particular drug, you were somehow able to make a medicine from that could able to cure COVID-19, right? So these were two case studies or scenarios, I would say. Only thing that is fiction about is you weren't there, right? It has happened. So this is how the healthcare is being shifted towards the AI, because there is a limit to retain the memory in the human mind. But if you talk about the LLMs, yeah, sure, it does hallucinate. It will give you the results. Those are not good, but still it has a very long context window, right? So you are getting a lot of answers. You are getting a lot of context from it, and you are putting your questions. It will give you results on the basis of that. And adding the vector database to it, it will like act like a superhuman, right? Okay. So from these two case studies, what are the possible ideas to work on? First one is, let's consider healthcare in two segments. First one is the mental health, and second one is the physical health, right? In the mental health, what happens actually, I've talked to a lot of mental health professionals. If you have a good vocabulary, if you are able to tell, okay, so this is something that I am feeling, that one word that you can catch, you will be like cured in 6 months maximum, right? So the major thing is, in the healthcare of the, like in the mental health care, the right word is very difficult to find, right? So first thing is that you can use something in the healthcare. Then after that, we have the physical health. In the physical health, if you are visiting a doctor, all right, and he's using a system where everything is being transcribed on the real time. Let's suppose you are saying something and it is being transcribed on the way, and the doctor is saying something, it is also being transcribed on the way, and you have a fine-tuned model, or let's say a general prospective model that is there to answer the questions on the basis of that particular transcript of yours, right? You are getting you are involving the human in the loop, you are also involving the AI in the loop as well, right? So that is something a product that you can make from it, right? Then after that we have the machineries, of course. Okay, so AI system matched or outperformed the doctors in the task like skin cancer detection and the radiology scans, including humans in the loop. Of course you need the human. There is one slide I have added in the last as well. So that is already that is responsible for the kind of predictions that you are getting. Let's suppose there is a guy in your neighborhood and he visited to a vet, he visited to somebody, right? And the doctor told him he is having cancer, right? So what is going to be the first question the neighbor is going to ask? Why me? And second question will be how it is happening, right? So these are the two things you will not only ask to the human, you will also ask to the your AI system as well, right? You can't just say, okay, so this is trained on this sort of data and it is getting the prediction on the basis of that. You should be liable for that. There are two things. First one is the explainability, and second one is like you are able to explain the model, right? So these are two different things. We'll cover that in the later part. We'll move next to the education part. And in the education, I won't necessarily include the traditional education, not only from the second grade to the high school, elementary and high school education. I will include every sector into it, from the financial sector to the legal section to the development section and everything, right? Everything is there. So in the development sector, I guess majority of you guys from the development background, right? How many of you are from the engineering background? Can you please raise the hand? Perfect. So in the development, you have already seen the progress. You have already seen the transition, right? Earlier, what used to, wait a second. I have this. Yeah, this is a number. 3 million repos were created till 2013 and 5 million till 2015. 2 years, 2 million gap. I need you to answer me. What do you think? How many repositories do we have right now? Or how many repositories do we have in the last 3 years? Anybody? Wild guess. 50 million. 15 million. All right. 50 million. 25 million. 100 million. Okay, it's like a bidding. Goes to you. All right. So in 2023, we have around 300 million repositories. And this is the data till 2023. And now the AI have come into the picture in the developmental stage. We have Cursor, we have a lot of tools. Those are deploying it for you. You don't have to do anything. You just have to, okay, git push this and that's it, right? So they haven't published the data, but the guy from the GitHub told it's somewhat around a billion now. Billion. We were around 15, we were around 50, right? That's a long shift. So this is how the AI is actually impacting the developmental stage. Perfect. Then we have one more thing that is being transitionized. That is the hierarchy, that is the way the companies are operating, right? So this is the entire architecture. I guess Shubham have already showed that in his research. So what happens is, first, if you are let's suppose you have an idea, right? You are in an ideation stage and you want to build a product out of a company, and you visited some company and, okay, so I want this product, right? And these are my requirements and I am willing to spend this much of the amount. Perfect. So what you will do is you will first visit the sales department or the business analyst, right? He will okay, so he will understand all your requirements, and after that he will pass those requirements for the CEO or the CTO to approve, right? Then after those requirements are approved, they will start working on that. They will get back to you on the costing and everything like that, right? So in this research paper, this was published in 2024. What they did was they created the entire hierarchy of the organization, right? And in that organization, you are a client and you are just writing the prompt that is the entire requirements list of yours, right? Then after that, it is automatically going to the business analyst. The guy over here in the chat dev is the business analyst. He will reach out to each and every agent. All right, let me give you a fair context of what agent is. Agent is an LLM on which you have defined certain role. All right, so you will act as a business analyst and you will act as an engineer, giving some sort of context and attaching some sort of RAG pipeline to it, right? It will go to that. It will give you the results. It will tell you all about the costings. Okay, so these are the costing. This is the estimation that we require to build a product. Then after that, the estimation is being done. That will be passed on to the developer, right? And one more thing, you think agent work in a flow. Okay, so this is an agent that is creating something and someone else is testing for that. That's not at all the case in like if you are talking about the good agents. You can define the agents in a way that it is in a hierarchy and it is also solo, right? What do I mean by that? First one, let's suppose there is an entire team of the AI engineers. Those are solely the front-end engineers, right? There is a hierarchy for that. Then there is the back-end engineer, then there is an AI engineer and everything that you need for that particular project. There are tools, of course. Let's suppose you have to integrate calendar to it. So there's a tool that can integrate that calendar to your organization. Perfect. So first, the backend will be handled, let's suppose. All right. Then after that, that backend will be sent to the testing agents, right? And what about the testing agents? Let's suppose if you are using a normal LLM and if you type, okay, so I need a code for writing a Fibonacci series, it will give you the code. Then you have to run it on your system. That means you have to use your own CLI. That means you have to use your own memory. Perfect. But in this case, there is one agent that is the CLI, of course, that is the entire execution agent. You have built a backend that will be transferred to that particular AI agent. Then it will execute that and it will give you the errors. First one, let's suppose in the first iteration, there is one library missing, that is NumPy, right? So there will be a error in the CLI that, okay, so this library is missing. Then that feedback will be backly transferred to that particular backend agent. All right, so I want to write you the code in the basic on like in a way, I want you to do the changes in a way that it should run, and this was the error in that. This library was missing. So you add that library and you go back to that particular agent and everything is running smoothly. Then everything is done on the front end, on the back end, on the AI. Then after that, that will be passed to the testing agent. Everything will be tested, right? There will be a lot of test cases on the basis of the code that you have written. And those test cases will be run on your system and the reports will be generated through it. How much memory was taken, how much time was taken, and like, did the test case even pass or fail, right? So these are the kind of things on a whole that will happen inside the engineering team, right? When the entire product is built, it will be handed over to you. So that was the entire hierarchy of the paper. And this wasn't only a theoretical concept. They actually build a game. I don't know exactly the name of the game, but they build a game entirely in 8 minutes. And you were able to see the agents interacting with each other, right? So there was an agent that is telling, okay, so the code wasn't good, so they texted back, okay, so do some changes, and all right. So these are the kind of things in the developmental stage, I think, is impacting the development, right? Then after that, we have this. Of course, we have reviewed it. Then after that, let's go to the third case study. That is the MasterCard. All right. So back in the days, first thing, frauds are inevitable in banking. That's a statement, right? Period. And after that, like, you can minimize them. You can only minimize them. So earlier, what used to happen was there was data and people were monitoring it and getting the results. Okay, so this is fraud, this is something, this is something, this is approved. So there were a lot of false positives. and the time taken was very huge, right? Then they used the machine learning approach. What they did was they did clustering of each and everything. They found out the outliers. Okay, so that was also a time consuming process, as your data is changing day by day, right? So you were able to do that, but after a certain time, when the agentic AIs and everything came into the picture, they used the AI to do that, right? So there is one thing about the traditional AI, the generative AI can do that, right? If you are prompting, I want, this is my data, and this is the entire information about the data, the number of rows, how many standard deviations, whatever it is, right? Then after that, it is passed as a pipeline to the model that the generative AI already have built itself, right? It was working on that. Then after that, what was the result? 200% less false positives, first things. And they were able to save actually a lot of time, right? So this was a case study by the Mastercard. Then after that, we have the JP Morgan. They have built an AI system called the Coin to handle the tedious task of reviewing the legal contracts. How many times have you made a product and thought, okay, so this will be not legally fit? Or let's suppose if you are shifting your home, there'll be a lot of legal paperwork. Or let's suppose if you are taking a car, if you are taking a loan, there are a lot of scenarios where the legal work is involved, right? You aren't able to like read it all. You are not able to understand what is clause 30, what is clause 50, what is article, and all these kind of things. But if you are passing that entire legal document to an LLM or an agent that is built for that, it will give you the insights. It will tell you on what cases your insurance is valid, on what scenarios your like you have to empty your home, and all of the things like that, right? So you can use the AI agents in a way that it can answer the legal aspect as well, right? Then after that, we have the ethical concern. That is the main thing, right? So there are two ways that we can reduce the, what you can say, okay, so there will be a lot of false predictions, there will be a lot of errors, there will be a lot of false outputs, right? So there are two ways to deal with it. First one, take a human in loop. Let's suppose okay, so there is a self-driving car in India, and some policeman stops it. Who is able to answer the question? Who is liable for that? Yeah, of course. No one is there. No one is sitting here. You are sitting on the back seat. Who is able to answer that? Nobody, right? So that is one thing. You have to have a human in loop. Second thing, it should give you the features on the basis of what it predicted. Let's suppose, let's take the example of healthcare once again. Someone told you you are having a cancer, right? And it was fed a lot of your past history, lot of your data, according to you, okay, your age, your gender, everything like that, right? And after that, it is giving you a prediction. Okay, so you are positive for the cancer. How is it supposed to tell you it gave you the results on the basis of these particular features? What was the reason? Why did the model performed the way it is performing? So there is a field of study, entire field of study called XAI, not of the Elon Musk, of course. That's the explainable AI. What it does is it will break down your entire model into sub-models, right? That will be computationally very inexpensive. First of all, it will break down the model. Then after that, it will give the input that, let's suppose your data was an input. And the output was, okay, so age was the major factor because of which you are having a problem. I am taking example of age. There might be some other reasons as well. Let's suppose you had some sort of disease in your past days. That is the main reason for giving you this kind of output, giving you these kind of predictions, right? So this is the point where the explainable AI comes to the picture. And if you are saying this feature, this is the feature which is solely responsible for giving you the predictions that okay, so you are having some sort of disease. So that is not only applicable for the healthcare domain, that is applicable for each and every domain, right? These are the ethical concerns that, and yeah, one more thing. There is one more field of study that I think is emerging right now if you want to work on that. Ethical AI is valid for the traditional algorithms. Ethical AI is valid for the deep learning, machine learning, and all these kind of things. It's not applicable for the generative AI, because generative AI is based on the transformer architecture. And yeah, perfect. So it is based on the transformer architecture, and you aren't able to predict, okay, so what will be the next word that will be coming, right? So ethical AI won't fit into that picture. But let's suppose if you are creating an agent and there is no human in the loop, how are you supposed to evaluate it? Let's suppose there's a QA task and you are getting a test case out of it, right? And the test case is not running because the test case is not according to that particular code. How are you supposed to find a matrix? Okay, so this is the false positive, like this is the false positive, this is the false negative, and is it right or not, right? So this is a major field of study where the explainable AI have come into the picture for the agentic AI, right? So that is something you can work on, of course. All right, so this was my entire talk. Thank you, I guess. uh, thank you. And these were the references of the case studies that I have been using. And yeah, let's connect. I'm Aman Sani. I'm an AI engineer at Geeky Ants. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So we'll be moving to the last speaker of the day. It's not just a normal duration. It is just for the lightning talk. Can we welcome Tadit Das? And he is the vice president of Wells Fargo. So please welcome him.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So how many of you are developers here? Awesome. Mostly like 95%. Okay. Good. So you'll enjoy this session. So imagine that you joined a company, you joined a new team, right? And then you got a project all of a sudden, which you don't know, and your leads are busy, right? And now you are on your own, and you have to make sure you understand the project, right? Somewhat. So let's see if anybody else can help without our team. So I'm talking about GitHub Copilot. How many of you have used GitHub Copilot in your daily day-to-day? Okay, so many. Okay, I could have interacted with all of you, but giving this time limit, so I'll just show you how exactly I am using, so that you might get some insights, right? So so this is a old project in my system.
So I'll just go through. So this is a .NET project. By the way, I'm in .NET, Angular, and Azure background. So I'll just go ahead and open my GitHub Copilot. So just to avoid live demos breaking on the session itself, so I have prepared it already. So, so let's see if it works. So what I have done is, okay, I'm saying, hey, GitHub Copilot, can you create some diagram for me so that I can understand the project a little bit before I start, right? So let's see if it generated something. So it generated a markdown syntax mermaid file, right? So what I can do is I can take the whole thing and create a diagram .md file, which is a markdown file, right? How many of you know markdown syntax? Hands up. Nice. If you know, then you can start from here. So I'll just right click. I'll try to open with a markdown preview enhanced plugin of Visual Studio Code. By the way, this is Visual Studio Code. If I do that, I'll see a diagram which is going into my code base, going to each controller. It is trying to give me a context, okay, how the data is flowing from one module to another module. Then I can extract this to different things. And then let's say I have done with HTML. Now I can see with my browser itself. So this is how you can understand your project a little bit, how data is moving, right? So this is a use case just I recently observed 2 days back. So I'm just sharing with all of you. Sorry? Yes, it generated. Yes. No. It generated itself. I just told him to go inside my code, understand the logic, and give me a diagram like this. So this is @workspace. So this is agent. Inside GitHub Copilot, there is another agent. I'm talking to that agent to create a diagram for me based on my code files. So that is what I done. So now let's not stop here. Let's go to the next level. So what I'll do is I'll try to create a test plan for the whole logic that I have in the application in a particular format, right? I have told it, okay, generate the whole plan with test ID, description, conditions, expected result, actual results, all that, right? In the markdown syntax. That is done. Now I'll just copy it. I'll paste it. Where is my file? Okay, this one. Test plan. And I'll try to preview. So now my plan is ready, right? Now I can go ahead, talk to my business partners, fine tune this business, whatever test cases it generated, because it might not be correct, right? So it generated everything. So your testing team will love you, right? You are generating as a developer. Now you can also say that, okay, you are missing this particular case. You can talk to your QA members and just argue with them, right? So that is one case I observed. Then what would be my next step? Anybody want to prompt? What would be my next one? Next prompt. Anybody guess? After this test plan, what I should do? Sorry? Performance. Yeah. Exactly. So that's a. What's your name, sir? Masood. Okay, thanks. So that's what I'm going to do. So exactly, whatever you can prompt it. So that's, yeah, so that's what I done here. So I provided, okay, create the unit test cases. Now as you have provided the plans, so just talk to that particular file, just refer that file. So I have provided the file also here. If you see here, you can provide the context as a file, as an input to that agent, right? I provided the file, okay, follow this particular plan and create the unit and integration test. So it is done, right? It is done. Then I can create and take this to and create on the files. But I'll show you something interesting now. Now I'll go to this particular one, which is Copilot edits. How many of you know? Great. So yeah. Okay, let's so this is only live demo. It might fail. So sorry about that. Let's see. Let's try. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'll just drag this file here. I'll try to prompt that create for me instead of I copy from there, paste it and do it. Let's see if it able to do that. Let's copy the same prompt. My keyboards are not working. My daughter has redesigned the keyboard already. Some keys are not there, so I'm just using. Okay. I hope it works. Create unit test cases based on the test cases in the file attached. It will take some time. Git Copilot edits will take some time based on the project, how many files are there and all that. Trust me, I am using on this Copilot with like I'm in a bank, right? Wells Fargo. We have very complicated legacy codes and it works perfectly fine. It has done and it is running very smoothly. So it will take some time. It is, if you see, it's live generating. Thank God it is working. Live demo. Yes. So there are a lot of agents. If I show you here, so you have Azure, you have GitHub, you have Terminal. Terminal means the VS Code terminal. You can talk to the terminal, run your commands, all that you can do. Okay. Then there are like VS Code. You can talk to VS Code workspace. All these are available right now. But they are adding day by day. They are adding new agents. Your website is there. Yeah. No, they have their own LLM. GitHub. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that is there. That is there. Recently, they have launched. So here we have option to change things. This is free now. So these things are free to some extent. Maybe they have limit. I have not hit the limit today. But in our company, there is a paid version. So we are using paid version. I just tried. Recently, they launched this free version. So you can use it. Right. So here is what happened. So it created all the test files. If you see, it is showing a red symbol here because it is not saved. It is asking for your permission, whether it is correct or not. If you provide that permission, then it will accept. So there is option here. So it created a lot of files. If you see all the test cases according to here, there is a test folder at the left side. So all these test files are created. And now if I accept it, I think this keep. Okay. If I keep it, it is done. And the files are generated. Now next thing you can do, you can iterate over it. You can ask the agent to like refactor your code. Let's say you have a messy code, right? Lot of files are there and you are here and there, you're connecting to database and all that, right? There is no such specific class for let's say database connections and all that, right? So you want you can prompt the agent to create a different file, only different class only for database operations. Use that class into all your code, right? So it can do and it can show you in green and red. Okay, this is the code I am suggesting. Would you accept it? If I accept, it will be done. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show. Apart from that, there are a few other cases. I'll just show you quickly. Do we have time? If you all agree, I'll show because nothing depends on them. Depends on you. Okay, all right. So so what happens is there is a very messy legacy store procedure. Let's say. So this is one store procedure. This is just 1/10 of what I have seen in bank, right? Very messy code, very long query, and we have to understand in a day, right? It's very difficult. So I'll just copy it. I'll try to do something with it. Let's see. So what I'm trying to say is extract how many tables are affected, format the response in a table, and then one more query is the one more command is there. Explain how this particular logic is calculated. Let's say the one column is there and it is calculated based on some parameters, right? So that also I want to know. So let's try this. Okay, I think I did something wrong. This is because it is thinking that I'm talking about the file that is opened. So AI can go wrong. We saw the live demo, right? So it's 2 minutes. So trust me, it works. Yeah, it is working now. Okay. So it gives me a comprehensive, very brief view of what exactly it is happening inside the store procedure very quickly, and you can do like one day of work in, let's say, 10 minutes. So this is one case. Then one more case is there, but I'm not running. You got the point, right? What you can do. Now, in banks, right, we get a lot of compliance emails. Some team will throw you some mails saying that, okay, this is what you have to do, but that email will be like for you as a developer, it will take a lot of time to understand what exactly is there inside the email. So I have used that also in GitHub Copilot, saying that, okay, this is one sample email. This is not my bank's email, just for information. This is just a sample, okay? So what I'll try to do is I'll just copy it. Correct. So I'll just do this, and I have shown this in my company itself. A lot of people are getting help by this particular thing. Nobody has thought about like trying this, but yeah, it will work. Yeah, so it will give you step by step action items. Okay, what you need to do in order to be compliant. There are some other use cases. I'll not show you because time, we have very less time, like acceptance criteria, descriptions for a story. Like business people will throw you some text, right? Okay, this is what need to do, right? Now you have to create the story, you have to create the acceptance criteria, you have to create the description. Why to waste time? Just use a copilot. Hey copilot, give me in this format, take this business requirement, do it. That's how I have also used. A lot of other use cases people are doing, automations also. So yeah, that's it for my end. Hope you enjoyed. Sure. More zoom. Oh, it's not showing properly. It's not showing properly. Sequence diagram, yeah. So it is having boxes actually. User is a box, authentication controller is a box. It's not showing here. It's gray color, so it is maybe it's not rendering properly on the monitor. Yeah. No, no, no. For that, then again, you have to ask like, okay, what is inside authentication controller maybe. Entire project. Yes. Correct. Hmm. Yes. Right, right. So I'll talk about my company. So they have like set up all the things in house. The data is not going outside with GitHub Copilot team only, but it's staying inside. Exactly, exactly. That's how they are managing it for now. Don't know. Any other use case, interesting use case anyone wants to say? Maybe you.
Okay. Actually, I mean, I like diagramming as a code. So there is a GitHub Copilot plugin also.
Yeah.
So you can also install that.
Which one?
Here you have not used it.
Okay.
So here you have used Visual Studio Code plugin,
Correct.
right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm going one level below. So GitHub Copilot also has a separate plugin code system, plugin system.
Okay.
So there you can install like Mermaid and other things. So
Right. Okay.
but first get used to this, then go
Exactly.
for that. Having said that, I would say uh, one of the use cases which I try to do is creating readme dot markdown,
Right.
so
Okay.
let's say I have 17 repositories. So I asked it to create one readme for each, and then gave it to my module lead, right? And then they verified it. So immediately, earlier what would take like nobody prioritizes this in the scrum, they want to ship the features. So for
Right.
example, such things, documentation, etc., we can
Documentation.
get help of AI. So
Right.
I think
Agree.
documentation and testing. So I'm experimenting. I think everybody should experiment, and there are a lot of things we can
Great insights.
get.
Yeah,
Thank you.
documentation. Maybe you could try that. One more plugin I just want to mention if you can try at home. So there is a vision for GitHub. If it is there, I have installed, but I have not yet tried. But I have seen the demo how it is working. So you can actually paste your wireframe or any screenshot. Say that okay, code this particular screen. It will do for you. So this is how this vision for Copilot. It is a preview version. It is started, so it is working. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Klein. Okay. There are a lot of tools actually. Have you heard of Codium? Anyone? Codium. Yeah, it's a free tool, and they recently, if you know that, they recently set up an office in Bangalore. So I'm going to talk to them because I mean they have reached out to me to talk to them. Like they want to explain me what GitHub Copilot can do and they can do. So I'll just talk to them. Maybe in a future session we'll do a comparison. So let's see. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Prem.
Guys, yes, just a small announcement for you. We are having a landing page as you are seeing here right now for the healthcare. So we did this last meetup at Microsoft Reactor. You must be knowing, and you must have visited over there for a number of meetups. So this we did, and we have also have many blogs over here. Once you go to the website, you can check it out. If you click the link, you'll be having this read summary blog for each speakers over there. So this we have, and also in coming Wednesday, we'll be sending you one email which comprises of all the speakers information which we are doing it today, and also with all the slides information which you'll be getting over there. But yes, I want to inform you that if you have inserted a wrong email ID in the meetup.com, you can meet with Suraj over there and you can get it rectified, and you can write the uh, correct email ID in case you did. Otherwise, you'll be getting proper email with all the information which I've just told you, with the speaker slides, and this landing page link as well, and all the blogs over here. S- This, yes, all the recorded videos with the speakers, everything will be putting in the YouTube channel for you. Yeah, it's Geekians. Yeah. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, that today you have time and you came today for the meetup. And yes, now there is a time for the prizes. So I just want to announce the name who is the first, second, and yes, third and fourth. Luckily, you have told that time. So yes, can we